everyone. This is Dan from the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight and Three Heads Brewing. Today, I'm sitting down with Zahyia, the Rochester resident for the month of March. She's putting on 4 awesome concerts, each with a fantastic name, and all of them are on Thursdays. We're very excited to keep the fantastic momentum going. Avis Reese brought the house down over and over again, and we're going to keep doing that just for you guys, our loyal fans. Zahyia, thanks for your time, girl. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's start off nice and easy, as we always do. Are you a Rochester native?
I am not.
Where are you from?
Liberty, New York. It's a small town in Sullivan County, Catskill.
Thank you. I'm like, hold on. Let me pull up the map here.
Yeah,
Wow.
Sullivan County, Catskill, land of the chickens. Yay.
Land of the chickens.
My husband calls me a blackneck. Hey.
Oh my goodness. So like I not being from Liberty, New York, what's the musical environment like in Liberty, New York?
There is none.
There is none.
There is no musical.
So where did you get your like formative musical experiences from then?
My father. So my father's a jazz musician, and he's still is pretty much my hero, and I looked up to him all my life and wanted to gig with him, and he was like, no. And then he handed me a real book. I was like, you learn these, you can come. And so I did, and I started like going through it, and that was pretty much how I got. And he would hand me like records, not cassette tapes or CDs, but yeah, records of everything from Herbie Hancock, Miles Davis, and then vocalists. I started getting into Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday. So yeah. Those, I consider them my trainers, my teachers.
Awesome. So what did your dad play?
Saxophone is his main instrument, alto sax specifically, but he studied composition at Berkeley, and
Wow.
he played lots of instruments, all of the woodwinds, and he taught music at Liberty High School.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Wait, was he your music teacher then?
No.
Oh,
He quit
it.
by then, yeah.
You say you just missed being with dad.
He quit when I was 3. Yeah. He was like, I'm out.
So then what do you play?
My main instrument was flute. I played that for 15 years and haven't picked it up in like 10 years. So, yeah.
Just a little teaser. I think you might be brushing off the dust on the flute for some of these shows. But so how did you make your way to Rochester then, being from Liberty, New York?
I applied to U of R. And I came here, and I honestly just fell in love with the city and the school. Especially, being from a little town, and I was just like, oh my God, this place is so pretty.
Yeah.
And like you walk in, you drive in, and there's that Welcome to Rochester Bridge, and I was just like, I love it here. And then it snowed, and then I was like, why did I do this? But initially, I don't know, something about Rochester just drew me in.
Mind if I ask what your major was at the University of Rochester?
So I started off as a music major, and then I switched to computer science because everybody was like, you need to get a real job. And I did that until the department dissolved, and then I was like, I got to get out of here. So I switched to philosophy, and that's where I stayed.
Gotcha. So how did you make your way into the Rochester music scene?
It was always covers in the beginning, and which I honestly consider like a musical security blanket. It's safe and easy. So right. There was this guy, Christopher J., who was like old school R&B scene from back in the day, and he had introduced me to a bunch of other people. I can't even remember how I met him, but yeah, he kind of got me involved in the music scene, and then from there, I did Nick and the Nice Guys for many years, and then yeah.
Cool. So what was it breaking into that scene like? Because you and I were talking a little bit before. Part of my mythos is that I'm an upright bass player, and like it's really tough getting into the scene here because there's so much talent, and like it is a really welcoming place, but there's so much happening. So what was that like? I mean, you were just trying to get on your dad's gigs. And then now you're in a position where like, oh, I really have to make a niche for myself in this community. What was that like? And then when you got in, how did it feel?
Yeah, I honestly don't feel like I made a niche until, or even knew what my niche was until about 4 years ago. So like, even though I was around and doing things for a while, I feel like it was always under the veil of another voice, not necessarily my voice. So then when I joined Silver Arrow Band, that was like that changed my life, in all honesty.
Yeah.
And it became like this, a place of freedom and creativity within cover music. And then just from there, I met so many amazing musicians and just kind of like evolved. Or I guess like the lid was just kind of let go.
Right. It was an opportunity for you to grow and expand.
Yeah. That security blanket was just like torn off, and I was like, oh,
that feels so good.
This is much better. Fresh air. So yeah, that's.
For those who don't know, can you tell us what Silver Arrow is?
Yeah. So Silver Arrow is a corporate band, I guess is the best way to describe it. There's multiple professional full-time musicians that work for Silver Arrow, and we do corporate events and weddings, and I get to manage that and kind of create opportunities for musicians to actually feed themselves and have this be an actual career, which is something that people don't want to admit it should be. But yeah.
Awesome. So the other thing I think a lot of our viewers know, because your band is in fact an alumni group of the Rochester Indie Musicians Spotlight. I looked it up. Girl, I think that was like, it's possible that was, no, I think it was 2018, but still, it's hard to believe that it was, we're coming up on 2 years. So that band, of course, is Vanishing Sun. We know Vanishing Sun. We love Vanishing Sun. Why don't you talk to me about that band? I know that you guys don't like to put a specific genre on what you do, but why don't you talk a little bit about the band in general, because I think that's where a lot of people know you from.
Okay, yeah. Vanishing Sun, gosh, it's been like a wonderful little baby. It's like, just a place where we can really just kind of creatively experiment and see what it is to actually be an individual, but collectively express ourselves. So that, I don't know if I'm answering your question.
You are answering it beautifully.
Okay,
you are
great.
Absolutely. But like that goes off of the idea of like you're taking off the lid, and you can let it explore like that. Talk to me about the opportunity of like having a band like that, where you're really it's really a lot of creativity is encouraged, and you all work to find new territory. Especially like contrast that with having more steady gigs and more cover band gigs. It must be nice having that contrast.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, just the ability to explore. And then you learn so much, too. Because everybody's coming from, like you said, we can't really put a genre on what we do. But we're all coming from these different musical backgrounds. And then coming together and respecting those backgrounds. So it's also a growing experience because of that. So, I'm learning from those guys. And I won't speak for them. I don't know if they're learning from me, but...
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
So we've touched upon a lot of themes that I think are present in your 4 weeks at Three Heads. The first one, Diva Goddam. Now, I mentioned... you mentioned early on, like, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday were some of the big names for you growing up. Are you getting into that territory? Is it more of like the kind of the R&B diva that we know?
No, it's definitely the jazz. And you know what's interesting is that I never really considered myself an R&B person. In all full transparency, I didn't really listen to R&B when I was younger. I mean, it came on the radio, but like that wasn't my thing. My thing was definitely jazz.
Yeah.
So that's my roots and my home. And that's why I picked the first week to kind of go with the roots.
Yeah. So who's playing in that group with you?
So I have some amazing Eastman guys. I have Raphael. You know what? I don't know anybody's last name. Don't get mad at me.
Well, we'll get it in post.
Yeah. I got Raphael, who is doing upright bass and electric bass. And then I have Max Greenberg on keys, who's one of my favorite keyboard players in Rochester area. Quinn on saxophone, and I have a guy, Greg. I'm going to screw up his last name. He's on guitar and saxophone, because his first instrument is actually saxophone. But
wow.
And then drums, I have Steve Morris. Is his last name? Yeah. Awesome. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
So is that like great? We're expecting kind of the Great American Songbook Night, paying tribute to the artists you loved, or is it experimenting a little bit with the jazz stuff too?
It's actually a combination of entertainment, edutainment kind of vibe, because for me, Black History Month is just way too short. And so I'm expanding and that was kind of how Diva Goddam started, as this idea of edutainment that I had like years ago. And I was like, how can I creatively educate about these amazing women who often fall under the radar, especially Nina Simone, and kind of just bring that to the light a bit and celebrate women in general, but specifically Black women who have influenced me in some way. And so these three are the ones who influenced me the most, I would say.
Awesome. So you're tipping the proverbial hat to them. I like it.
Yes.
Moving on to the next week, we have the Vagina Musiclogs. Why don't you tell me about that?
Vagina. So
I thought I was going to get it right. I didn't, and now I just have to own it. So that's okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's second week, and I didn't even intentionally, honestly, when I picked these nights, because I had like 17,000 ideas, and I had to narrow it down, and it just so happened that they ended up stringing together because domestic violence is something that I think about often. And I'm a survivor of domestic violence, 6-year relationship, and so that Vagina Musiclogs is really just bringing the voice back to women, and of course playing off of the Vagina Monologues, which a book I would just happen to read at the time when I was thinking of what I was going to do. And so I have 2 other women who are joining me who are going to also speak their voice, and this is all music that we as women completely wrote. And which a lot of times in the music industry, women are told, by men, oh, that's great, but you should do this, or so this is that platform where it's just our voice, and therefore our vaginas, which, by the way, look awfully similar to vocal cords. I found out. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we can all walk away with a bit more
Yes.
anatomical knowledge. Didn't think that would happen on the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight, but we have to embrace the unexpected here. So who's joining you on this show?
So Sharon Kaplan, who is a prog rock goddess. I love her. Oh, that's the other thing. I just love how diverse we all are. And then my friend Melody Rose, who's actually out of Syracuse, and she does more like indie pop type of vibe. So the 3 of us together.
Awesome. Do you have a backing band as well?
We do. And it is most of Vanishing Sun.
Gotcha. Well, we know who those guys are. We'll get them in post. Very cool.
But with Alan Murphy. Alan Murphy on.
Ooh, what's Al playing?
He is playing
the keyboards. Okay, I figured, but he breaks out the guitar every now and then. So the next week, Rap Attack. Tell me about that.
So jazz is my roots, but hip hop's my heart. So I had to do something with hip hop, and it's going to be just really like a history of hip hop. Kind of like, I'm not going to be giving a lesson or nothing like that, but we're going to start this old school or true school, whatever you want to call it, and then bring it old school and then bring it to something a little more current. So I've got a lot of different MCs who are going to be joining me on that I'm excited about.
What I was going to say, one thing I think is really cool that is happening recently, we're exploring more genres coming to the Three Heads stage. What's it like? Can you even imagine how it's going to feel bringing like a real old school, true school hip hop act to the Three Heads stage? That's got to feel pretty cool.
It's going to be awesome. We got beatboxing. We got, well, I was going to wait to mention this, but I might as well announce
Grip it and rip it.
I am going to be showing up in drag. Full king beard man.
Fantastic. Yeah. So who's joining?
So I'm excited.
Who's joining you for this one?
So I have Gary Lamar is one of the MCs. A guy named Aaron Thompson, who is somebody who he's the first person I connected with musically at U of R when I moved here. And I've been very connected to his family. So he's joining me. Gosh, I should have lived there. There's so many people that night. Devontae on drums. Quinn is actually going to be playing bass for that one.
Too talented, that guy.
I know, right? It's just not. It's not right. And who do we have? Joe from the Sideways.
Oh, nice! He's playing keys for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic!
Excited about that. And who am I forgetting? Oh gosh, I had 2 hours of sleep, so I could remember everything.
It's all good. What?
My friend Crit from Buffalo.
Nice.
He's coming in to do the Run DMC stuff. So.
Oh, awesome!
Oh yeah, we going there.
That's going to be a ton of fun. And then wrapping it all up, putting it in a nice bow. LIzzo.
Yes.
So if there's anyone who's living under a pop music rock, why don't you tell us who LIzzo is?
LIzzo, I feel like she is the latest it girl. She is just like encompasses all of the voice of women empowerment and loving yourself and all of the things that, like, me personally, I've been just working on for, gosh, my entire life. So Lizzo kind of speaks that to women of all ages, all colors, all backgrounds. I feel like the uniting force of her is amazing. And her music is pretty badass. So,
So what can we expect from that show? Who's coming on and playing this music with you?
I also have two amazing women who are going to join me. One is one of my favorite vocalists out of Buffalo, New York. Her name's Alex MacArthur. She'll be coming in for that. And then I'm Allison Stevens, who a lot of people know Matt Stevens, but I don't know.
Allison Sparkles.
Yes.
Yeah.
The unicorn. Allison the unicorn.
Oh, I'm getting Larry the Unicorn song flashbacks.
No. Don't go that way. But yeah, they're joining me on that because there are so many lyrics. I was just like, yo, there's too many lyrics. Yeah.
So you'll all be carrying the weight a little bit.
Yeah.
And your backing band?
Backing band. So we've got on drums, Tommy Mattel from Vanishing Sun. Bass is Sean Conlon, who I think he does stuff with Roses and Revolutions a lot. Who else? We have keys. Joe is coming back again.
Nice.
Then let's see. I've got a horn section for this one.
Ooh.
Yes.
Who's joining?
Matt Hawk, who is from White Hot Brass, and Tim Hull from Zach Brown Tribute Band.
Exactly.
The main one. Yeah. It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be a raging show.
Yes.
Now, can we expect flute anywhere in this performance?
Yes.
Oh, you're dusting it off.
Well, I dusted it off, and let me tell you, I honestly wouldn't hire myself. So Tim is going to take that.
We salute you, Tim, pulling double duty for us. Very cool. Well, let's recap all the weeks. We got 4 awesome ones. March the 5th, again, and these are all Thursdays as well. We have Diva Goddam. March the 12th, we have the Vagina Musiclogs. On the 19th, we have Rap Attack. And then on the 26th, we have Lizzo. That does it. One more time, I'm Dan Gross. That is Zahyia, the March resident for 2020 at Three Heads Brewing. And we hope to see you every Thursday for 4 awesome shows.